July 7th, 1944. 4 a.m. The Tanapag Plain, Saipan. The darkness here is heavy. It presses against your eyelids, thick with the smell of sulfur, rotting vegetation, and the metallic tang of anxiety. You are sitting in a foxhole on the northern tip of Saipan, an island that has been burning for 3 weeks. To your left and right are the men of the 105th Infantry Regiment. They are exhausted. Their uniforms are stiff with salt and sweat. They are sleeping in shifts, gripping their M1 Garens like religious artifacts. They believe the battle is winding down. They believe the Japanese army is broken, starving, and trapped against the sea. They are wrong. 300 yards away, hidden in a ravine that the maps don't show clearly, something medieval is happening. General Yoshisugu Saito, the Japanese commander, has issued his final order. It is known as Gyokusai, the shattering of the jewel. It is a command to die. Every man able to walk, whether he holds a rifle, a spear made of bamboo, or just a rock, is gathering in the mist. There are not 300 of them. There are 3,000. Inside the American perimeter, Sergeant Thomas Baker checks his perimeter. He is a quiet man, a veteran who understands the rhythm of the jungle. He stops. He listens. Usually, the Pacific night is loud. Insects, wind, the ocean. But tonight, the jungle has gone quiet. The kind of silence that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Then, a low hum begins. It vibrates through the soles of your boots. It sounds like a hive of bees, growing louder, deeper, turning into a rhythmic chanting that echoes off the canyon walls. Banzai. 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 At 4:45 a.m., the horizon dissolves. A red flare pops overhead, bathing the landscape in a flickering, hellish light. And suddenly, the ground itself seems to move. A human wave, a solid wall of desperate men, surges out of the darkness. They are not using tactics. They are not using cover. They are sprinting directly into the teeth of the American machine guns, screaming, climbing over their own dead to reach the foxholes. The American line, thin and overstretched, buckles instantly. The sound is deafening, a chaotic mix of screaming, the thump-thump-thump of heavy machine guns, and the terrifying crack of mortars landing inside the perimeter. The 1st and 2nd battalions are being washed away by a tide of humanity. Radio operators are screaming for artillery support, but the enemy is too close. They are in the holes. They are in the tents. The battle has disintegrated into 1,000 wrestling matches in the dark. Amidst this collapse, the order goes down the line, pull back. Retreat to the secondary line. Save yourselves. But 2 men do not hear that order. Or if they do, they choose to ignore it. One is Sergeant Thomas Baker. The other is a dentist, a man who shouldn't even be holding a gun, Captain Ben Salomon. While thousands of Americans scramble backward, desperate to escape the slaughter, these 2 men drive their boots into the mud. They look at the wave of 3,000 soldiers coming at them. And they make a decision that defies every instinct of survival. They aren't leaving. Your support isn't just a number, it's a heartbeat that keeps history breathing on this channel. So do subscribe this channel and hit the like button. 5:15 a.m. The aid station, 50 yards behind the line. Captain Ben Salomon is not supposed to be fighting. He is a dentist. He wears the Red Cross brassard on his arm, a symbol that, by the Geneva Convention, marks him as a non-combatant. His job is to fix teeth and patch wounds, not to kill. Inside his medical tent, the air is thick with the copper smell of open wounds and the sharp tang of antiseptic. He is working frantically on a wounded private, trying to stop the bleeding from a shrapnel injury. Outside, the roar of the battle is getting louder. Closer. Salomon looks up. The canvas flap of the tent tears open. Standing there is a Japanese soldier, bayonet fixed, eyes wide with the adrenaline of the charge. In that split second, the rules of civilized warfare evaporate. The soldier lunges, not at Salomon, but at the helpless man lying on the stretcher. Salomon doesn't think. He acts. He doesn't reach for a scalpel, he reaches for an M1 rifle lying on a crate. He fires from the hip. The Japanese soldier drops. But there is no time to process the shock. 2 more enemy soldiers burst through the entrance. They are inside the sanctuary. Salomon swings the rifle like a club. He smashes the first soldier backward, then shoots the second. He drops the rifle, draws a knife, and engages the third in a brutal, close-quarters struggle among the medical supplies. When silence briefly returns to the tent, the dentist is standing over 3 dead bodies. He is breathing hard. His white medical coat is stained, but he realizes something terrifying. The line hasn't just buckled, it has dissolved. The enemy is everywhere. He looks at his patients, dozens of wounded men who cannot walk, let alone fight. If he leaves, they will be butchered in their cots. Salomon turns to the surviving medics. His voice is calm, terrifyingly steady. "Everybody's dead out there," he says. "I'll hold them off. You get these men to the beach." He steps out of the tent. He sees a heavy machine gun, a water-cooled Browning M1917, sitting unmanned. Its crew is dead. Captain Ben Salomon, the dentist from Milwaukee, climbs behind the gun. He racks the bolt. He isn't a doctor anymore. He is the rear guard. 5:30 a.m. The perimeter. A few hundred yards away, Sergeant Thomas Baker is fighting a different kind of war. Baker has run out of rifle ammunition. The wave of attackers is so dense that aiming is irrelevant, you just have to point and fire. He grabs a bazooka, a weapon designed to destroy tanks, not infantry. He loads a high-explosive rocket. He shoulders the tube. Whoosh crack. The explosion tears a hole in the charging line, sending dirt and debris flying. It is overkill, but it is necessary. Baker reloads. He fires again. He is single-handedly breaking the momentum of the charge in his sector, turning the jungle into a chaotic storm of fire and smoke. But the numbers are against him. A Japanese soldier flanks his position. A rifle cracks. Baker is hit. The bullet smashes into his hip, shattering bone. He collapses into the mud. Most men would stay down. Most men would scream for a medic. Baker drags himself to a sitting position. He grabs his rifle again, ignoring the agony radiating from his leg. He keeps firing. His ammunition runs dry. He draws his pistol. He shoots until the slide locks back. A captain from his unit runs over, grabbing Baker by the harness, trying to drag him backward toward safety. Baker is heavy dead weight. As the captain drags him through the tall grass, a Japanese soldier lunges from the brush, spear raised. Baker, seeing what the captain cannot, raises his empty pistol and throws it with all his remaining strength. It hits the attacker in the face, staggering him just long enough for the captain to finish him. They make it 50 yards back. But Baker knows the truth. He looks at his leg. He looks at the exhausted men trying to carry him. He knows that if they keep trying to save him, they will all be overtaken. They will all die. He grabs a tree trunk and stops. July 8, 1944. 10 a.m. The recapture. The sun rises over the Tanapag Plain, burning off the morning mist. The screaming has finally stopped. The Banzai charge has broken itself against the American secondary lines like a wave crashing against a cliff. Now, the American tanks are moving forward. The 106th Infantry is retaking the ground lost in the night. The soldiers walking through the tall grass are silent. They are walking through a graveyard that stretches for miles. For 1,000 Japanese bodies litter the field. But amidst the carnage, the Americans are looking for their own. They are looking for the men who stayed behind. They reach the aid station first. The tent is shredded. But sitting behind a water-cooled machine gun, slumped over the receiver, is Captain Ben Salomon. The scene tells a story of almost superhuman resistance. The investigators begin to count. They count the bodies of Japanese soldiers piled in front of the gun. There are not 10. There are not 20. There are 98. 98 enemy soldiers lie dead in a fan shape in front of the dentist's position. But the forensic evidence reveals something even more staggering. The machine gun tripod has been moved. Once. Twice. 3 times. As the Japanese flanked him, this wounded doctor, bleeding from multiple gunshot and bayonet wounds, had physically dragged the heavy iron gun to a new position, re-aimed, and continued to fire. He didn't stop until his heart stopped. He had fired thousands of rounds. He had saved every single wounded man in the aid station behind him. A mile away, a patrol from Baker's unit is pushing through the jungle, retracing their steps. They are looking for a specific tree. They find it. Sitting at the base, just as they left him, is Sergeant Thomas Baker. He is slumped forward, his helmet tipped over his eyes. The unlit cigarette is still in his mouth. In his hand is the captain's M1911 pistol. The slide is locked back. It is empty. The captain walks forward, dreading what he might find. He looks around the tree. Lying in a neat semicircle, less than 5 yards from Baker's boots, are 8 Japanese bodies. The math is absolute. 8 rounds in the magazine. 8 dead enemies. Baker didn't panic. He didn't spray wild shots into the dark. As he sat there, bleeding to death, surrounded by an army, he waited. He let them get close enough to touch, and he made every single bullet count. One of the Japanese bodies is an officer, lying face down, his sword drawn. He died reaching for Baker. The soldiers stand around the tree in silence. They realize that Baker didn't just die. He held court. He forced the enemy to pay a price for his life that was mathematically perfect. August 1944. Headquarters, Pacific Ocean areas. The battle for Saipan is over. The island is secure. But a new battle is just beginning, fought not with rifles, but with typewriters and red tape. Major General George Greiner, commander of the 27th Infantry Division, sits at his desk. He reads the witness statements. He reads the body counts. He knows he has witnessed 2 of the greatest acts of individual courage in American history. He immediately recommends both Sergeant Thomas Baker and Captain Ben Salomon for the Medal of Honor. For Thomas Baker, the process is swift. The Army recognizes that a soldier who asks to be left behind to die so his squad can live is the definition of valor. His citation is written in gold. He is immortalized as the man who fought an army with a single magazine. But for Ben Salomon, the file hits a brick wall. It stops on the desk of a high-ranking officer who points to a specific rule in the Geneva Convention. Medical personnel wearing the Red Cross brassard cannot bear arms for offensive purposes. The argument is cold and legalistic. They admit Salomon saved lives. They admit he killed 98 enemies. But because he manned a machine gun, a heavy weapon, they argue he technically violated the rules of war. They argue that giving a dentist the Medal of Honor would encourage the enemy to target doctors. The recommendation is denied. Imagine the bitterness of the survivors. The men of the 105th Regiment owe their lives to the dentist who stood in the door. They saw him club men to death to protect the helpless. And now, their country is telling them that he did his job too well. For decades, the story of Ben Salomon is buried in the archives. It becomes a rumor, a campfire story told by old veterans. The dentist of Saipan. The man who stacked the dead like cordwood. As the years pass, the men who were there begin to die of old age. The memory fades. It seems that history has decided to forget the man who refused to leave his patients. But the Army is a long-lived institution. And sometimes, the truth is stubborn enough to outlive the bureaucracy. In the late 1990s, a team of researchers reopened the file. They analyzed the bullet trajectories. They measured the position of the machine gun. And they proved, mathematically and legally, that Salomon's actions were purely defensive. He wasn't attacking, he was creating a perimeter of survival. The brick wall finally crumbles. May 1st, 2002. The Rose Garden, the White House. 58 years after the sun rose over the slaughter at Saipan, an old woman stands next to the President of the United States. She is Dr. Robert West, Ben Salomon's friend and fellow dentist. Ben has no living family. He never married. He never had children. He gave that up on July 7, 1944. The President reads the citation. The words echo across the lawn, finally correcting a half-century of silence. Captain Ben L. Salomon, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. The Medal of Honor is finally awarded. Today, if you visit the Pentagon, you can walk down the Hall of Heroes. You will see the name of Thomas Baker. And right next to him, you will see the name of Ben Salomon. They are reunited in history, just as they were united in the mud of Saipan. The story of the 2 men against 3,000 is not a legend about super soldiers. It isn't a story about Rambos or invincibility. It is a story about a dentist and a sergeant. 2 ordinary men, exhausted and wounded, who found themselves at the end of the world. They didn't have reinforcements. They didn't have hope. But when the ground shook and the enemy screamed, they didn't run. They simply drew a line in the dirt, looked into the darkness, and said, "No further."